The Seminoles have two portal targets on campus right now, and it's all anybody can talk about in the Florida State world. So we're going to tell you exactly what you need to know and dive into both guys in this video. The Seminoles are hosting both Jaylen Key and Keon Coleman, and we're going to make a prediction on both of them in just a moment. We've mentioned both of them in previous videos, but things are heating up right now for FSU and Mike Norvell. So we're going to talk about both of them here today. First up, Jaylen Key. He is a 6'2", 210-pound safety. He's originally from Tallahassee, Florida, and he is transferring from UAB. He's got a list of suitors, and he's got a bunch of guys that are after him. The biggest and probably the biggest competition for Florida State at this time is going to be Alabama. I think that they are a massive threat, and I think that they are who we are probably most worried about in this recruitment. He is from Tallahassee, though, and I think that will play a very large role in what he ends up deciding. I think that's a huge advantage for the Noles. Does it end up putting them over the top? We'll see. But it is a big deal that he is from there. He's got relationships with guys on the roster, and he's also got a good relationship with Corey Fuller. Does that put FSU over the top? I'm not sure. Alabama is certainly very, very involved, but something to at least keep mind of, keep notice of. Key is the highest rated safety in the portal, according to On3. He is a top 10 player that's currently available according to their rankings. He helps and would help bolster a safety position that definitely saw some attrition that was somewhat expected and then in some ways not expected this spring portal window. He is a big physical safety at 6'2", 210 pounds, and I do think he does a really good job in the run game, being a run-stopping type safety. Key is really good, not only in coverage, but also stopping the run. He's got above average advanced metric grades in both run stopping and pass defending. He's really good playing over the top and near the line of scrimmage, and that's where I think Florida State really sees him as a possible help, somebody that can really make a big difference. I'm not comparing him to this guy, but just like Derwin and just like Jamie used to be able to play at all three levels, both over the top, up at the line of scrimmage, and there in the middle. I think they like that about Key a ton. He's big, he's physical, he takes great angles, he closes very well in the run game and in the pass game, honestly. He takes, just super physical. A guy that I think Florida State would be really happy to have. Obviously, you lost Jamie Robinson to the NFL draft. You lost Travis Jay. I think that was probably something that Florida State was encouraging. I think there were some things going on off the field there that we spoke with our Discord members about. And you lost Duke Cooper, who I don't think Florida State wanted to lose. So I think Key would be massive for this Florida State team. He was very productive last year. In fact, I'll throw his stats up on the screen. 60 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions. Again, really key in the run game, really big in the pass game as well. Not only solid safety, but he is somewhat of a playmaker too. He gets after it, gets after the ball, does a really good job getting in the mix. Florida State would do really well to pick up Jaylen Key. The other transfer that's on campus right now, we'll talk about in just a moment, right after I give some love to our friends over at Garnet and Gold. Make sure that you're shopping for all of your FSU gear at garnetandgold.com. They are the absolute best when it comes to Florida State licensed apparel and merchandise. Family owned and operated. They are the last remaining family owned and operated retailer of Florida State merchandise in Tallahassee. They've employed thousands of FSU students over the years. They give back to our boosters. You should not be shopping anywhere else. Use code NOSLAW for 15% off. You will not be disappointed with how quickly they ship, how good their customer service is, and their products are absolutely elite. GardenGold.com. Use code NOSLAW for 15% off. Okay, Keon Coleman is the other transfer that's currently on campus. He is also a top 10 available player. He's 6'4", 215 pounds, wide receiver, originally from Louisiana, transferring from Michigan State. He does have 2 years of eligibility, which I think is a big deal. I think with a really special year, he could end up going to the draft, but I think you might be able to get him for a couple of years. I think Keon Coleman would be a massive addition to this wide receiver room, who did lose Micah Pittman. All indications look like he is going out to Utah. Michigan State worked extremely hard to keep Keon Coleman. I know that they did not want to lose him. I know that that was somebody that they brought back in and did everything in their power to try and keep. He ended up transferring. He ended up not sticking with them. And I think that he could end up being really, really special for the Noles. We'll see if he ends up picking FSU or not, but let's talk about him just a little bit. 58 receptions, 798 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That led Michigan State in all 3 categories. He is a 2-sport athlete. Spent a little bit of time on Tom Izzo's basketball roster. Again, we talked about this, a Louisiana native. It doesn't sound like LSU is in this anymore. There have been some transfer rumors, some visit rumors that have been shut down by Keon Coleman. But LSU was in it at one time. Auburn was in it at one time. Looks like that got shut down pretty quickly as well. Hayes Fawcett of On3 says that nearly 60 schools have reached out and tried to chat with Keon Coleman. And I don't know what his next plans are, but I do feel like Florida State is in a really, really good position for Coleman. I've been told that he has been enjoying his visit. It does sound like Jordan Travis and others are recruiting him extremely, extremely hard. I believe that FSU is in a very good spot for him. I made a prediction as to what I think happens over in our Discord. If you haven't joined that, I've referenced it a couple of times, but we share a lot of exclusive and inside info over there. It's cost of a cup of coffee. I think it's about $3 a month. The link is down in the description. You can check that out if you want a little bit more information about both of these recruitments. We're hearing some good things out of both of them. Coleman is certainly somebody that I think the Noles have a really, really good chance of landing. I think Key is somebody who could do some good things as well, could end up in Garnet and Gold, but I do think that's probably a little bit tougher of the 2 battles that you're looking at. All right, so what's going to happen with both of these guys? Well, Keon Coleman was to make it in. Obviously, that would be huge for the wide receiver room. Jaylen Key would be huge for the safety room. Can Florida State go 2-0 on these? Can they get both transfers in? I think there's a shot. I think Keon Coleman is one that Florida State feels pretty confident about. I've heard some good things there. Again, share those things with our Discord members, share those with our Patreons, and the folks that are YouTube channel members. So if you haven't already, go sign up to be one of those and get access to that. All the links are down in the description. Jaylen Key, I think, is a little bit more of a battle. I think that that's one that's probably between FSU and Alabama. I think it could come down to the wire, could go either way, to be cliche and use all of the euphemisms there. But Jaylen Key is somebody who is really, really special, would certainly help out Florida State's room a ton. But I do think that one's going to be a tough one. I think that Alabama is heavily involved. We've heard of other schools that are heavily involved. He's obviously released a top 6 that had some other schools in it, like Oregon, UNC. Ole Miss is obviously a player as well. And so just something to keep an eye on. Jaylen Key, I think, has had a good time in Tallahassee. I've heard about some of the stuff that they've had going on. It's been fun. It's been good. But I think that that is going to be a very highly contested recruitment, and one that I think the Noles will do anything and everything they can to win. But you're still going up against the likes of Alabama, Oregon, USC, some really big hitters, some heavy names in there as well. Big shout out to the Battle's End. I know that they are going to be crucial and instrumental in both of these recruitments. They do a great job of making transfers aware of NIL opportunities that will exist. If you haven't signed up to be a member of thebattlesend.com, you should certainly do so. They've got some exciting stuff coming down the pike. I'm excited to see what they do as we get closer to the season. But let me know your thoughts. Where do you think Key and Coleman end up? Do you think Florida State can go 2 for 2 on these transfers? Mike Norvell is absolutely the portal king. Very rarely do guys come in and get the onslaught of an FSU visit and not end up committing to the Noles? Where do you think Key ends up? Where do you think Coleman ends up? Let's talk about it down in the comments. I'd love to see your thoughts and hear your thoughts. If you didn't see our video on Florida State looking to leave the ACC, you can do me a favor and click right here to watch it.